Hi, I'm Chris House.
And I'm Marty House.
We started going to Delano United Methodist Church in 1976. The first thing I think of when I think of the church is faith in action. Our church is always trying to make someone else's life better, whether it be a local, regional, state, or world mission. The most successful lately has been Can Do. And of course, our trips to Simpson Shelter with Connie have been great. One of the first groups that I joined was Martha's Circle. The women's group was so welcoming, and the Bible studies and discussions were very meaningful. UMW was very involved in missions as well as supporting our own church during lean times. Early influences were Grace Swenson, Marilyn Wetter, Mary Book, and Margaret Parsons. What great examples.
Yes, and speaking of United Methodist women and Grace Swenson, I have a sweet Swenson story. There was going to be a bazaar held in the basement of the church, and the pastor asked if there was people who want to volunteer to help set up tables in the basement. So I went down there and was standing there watching these ladies get organized and try to figure out how to set the tables up. And after a while, I thought, well, I'm going to put my 2 cents worth in and help them. So I took a step forward, and I had some hands dig into my shoulder and pull me back. And I turned back and I looked kind of angrily. I thought, who grabbed me, you know? And here was Swede Swenson, Grace's husband there. And he takes his finger. He had short little fat fingers, and he just touched his lips like that about 3 times. And I just looked at him. I go, oh. So I stood back, and about 5 seconds later, the ladies had it figured out. And Swede turned to me and he said, you know what? They'd have chewed you up and spit you out. So that was a lesson I learned early in life in the church.
Don't mess with
the UMW.
Choir and music was a huge part of my life at the Delano United Methodist Church. When the organized choir director left, our pastor led the choir for a while. And then I felt a huge push to become involved and to lead the choir. I had been in orchestra and choir, but had never led anything. But I felt that music was the key to many people's faith and the path to God, and God had plans for me. How can I direct the choir? I can't even talk to people without blushing, I thought. Well, I was blessed to direct the choir for 13 years. I became lifelong friends with most of the people in the choir. And now I can tell people that you might not think you have the skills to do a particular ministry, but as in my experience, you can't, but God can. Trust Him and try it. If you ever have an idea, Delano United Methodist Church is the place to be. People are supportive and willing to help. It was asked that I bring a special item. When I retired from directing the choir, Marilyn Threlkeld wrote a poem and gave it to me. I won't read it to you right now, but it meant so much to me. This is what it looks like.
And I also had a lot of fun in the choir. I don't read music, but I sure enjoyed sitting in the back row with Denny Payne, Dwayne Elvishire, Urban Smith. All my sons sang in the choir. They had to. The Workman Boys, Fred Gordon, and now Mark and Dave Olson. We always don't know what page we're on or what song we're singing, but we always had fun and had an inspiring time.
We also belonged to a small group for many years, and we met in each other's homes. We had Bible study and socializing. Now our ministers are encouraging us to meet in small groups during this COVID time, and from my experience, it's a great way to keep us involved with each other right now.
The memories I have of the small group were our Christmas parties. They were usually held at Gordon's. We had what you call another potluck, and everyone brought their favorite potluck item. We never knew what Gary Threlkeld was bringing. He always brought what we call mystery meat, and I think one time, pretty positive, we had mountain lion to eat.
All our sons went to Sunday school and were confirmed in their faith at this church. They look forward to coming home for holidays so they can worship again with their home church family. Some of the best times with our youngest son was the summer canoe trip in Wisconsin. So much fun we had.
It was, and I remember canoeing with Chris, of course, and she was
He only dumped me practically every time.
maybe 2 or 3 times by accident. I can't sit still in a canoe. But when Dr. Toole and I got together, we pretty much showed the kids, we thrashed them with the squirt guns. It was a lot of fun. They came after us pretty hard, but I think we won.
I think you won.
Yep.
Yeah. Many people have influenced me, inspired me in this church. I hesitate to name any as the list is constantly being updated. Of course, I think everyone is influenced by the gentle, fun-loving nature of Fred Gordon. All of our ministers have taught us and increased our faith. Our ministers right now, I think, are outstanding. I am lucky enough to say that most of my best and oldest friends belong to this church. Faith, fellowship, friends. That's Delano United Methodist Church for me.
I have been inspired by many people of the church over the years. To actually name them, it's tough to do so, but through a lot of different life and death situations, they've always been there in hard times.
And my prayer for the church in 2021 is that we can come together as a church again. We can sing again. People will be well through this COVID time. And we can hear God's voice in all that we do.
I just have to agree with her. She's the Speaker of the House. She's right.